welcome here to the Tuesday morning Inside Texas live show with my guy Paul Wadlington. How we doing this morning, Paul? Little Memorial Day fun. We feeling all right today?
Doing all right.
Yeah, man, same here. Everybody moving good. A lot of slip and slide action yesterday, trying to limber the body back up this morning. A little slow start, but thanks for being here with us on Inside Texas. And don't forget about that Inside Texas promo sale right now. $1 will get you 3 months with Inside Texas and On3. Plenty of content going on right now. And again, congratulations to the individual NCAA Women's Champion, Miss Farrah O'Keefe, handling business out in Carlsbad. Omni LaCosta for the women. Now, Texas Enders match play today. They play Eastern Michigan, I believe, battling right now. They got all the ladies out on the course. Texas with a chance to win a national title there. Men's golf still in action. Obviously, baseball, softball, in the thick of things. So, Paul, we got off-season football to talk about, man. We're here talking more portal and all the work that Steve Sarkisian and the Longhorns did there, brother. Where are we going to start? You want to start on the defensive side, or you want to start on the offensive side?
I want to start with your slip and slide reference. Does this mean you went to Schlitterbahn yesterday?
No Schlitterbahn, man. But we, with all our flag football guys, one of them lives right on the river, and so they had a 50-foot slip and slide from the back of their property all the way down into the river. So we had one of the football guys had a birthday, man. They tore it up. I was out there about 3 times longer than I was kind of hoping to be, but man, they had a blast.
That's awesome. The merits of New Braunfels.
Oh yeah, good time, a lot of fun, and it's nice to have a little sun after all that rain that we were catching, man. And so, yeah, man, hopefully y'all got into any slip and slide action on your side, or y'all take it easy.
That could be interpreted a lot of ways. No.
I figured that was probably the case there, man. I want to start on the defensive side of the ball. Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely. So I wrote an article on Inside Texas, and I'm going to write some more, like a series of articles, just talking about the portal, where sort of the situation is now, what it looks like now for Texas. I don't know if you recall this, but about 2 or 3 years ago, the overwhelming wisdom was we would be about 90% homegrown or high school recruits, 10% portal guys, right? We wouldn't be one of these portal dominant teams or even sizable portal plurality teams, right? We would be using it for an occasional star and mostly to fill in a couple of depth gaps.
Right.
But very quickly, we've seen that shift. And it's now starting to look like, I don't think we're going to go full Indiana or Ole Miss where we're, 65% portal guys. Majority of our team is starters that originated at another school. But it's starting to look more like 75-25 or something like that. And I'm kind of wondering where that mix is going to settle in, what's optimal. And I know there's been some folks that have been sort of urging, hey, look at what Indiana did. Look at what Ole Miss did. Even Miami was more than half portal guys, even though they basically grew their own O-line, which is kind of what you want to do, right? A lot of their other players were just portaled in. A lot of their star, players like Mesidor, and of course, their quarterback every year is a portal guy, right? They don't even bother to try to develop the position. So my question to everyone and to you is, what's the optimal portal mix? And is there one? Or is it just you need to kind of feel out what's right for you and what you kind of have the opportunity to do? I guess there's a reason Georgia is still 90-10, like homegrown native recruits. But I don't think that's optimal either, because imagine Georgia at the line of scrimmage, the way they kind of recruit and they kind of fill their infrastructure positions. Imagine them with Kevin Concepcion and, Cam Ward throwing the ball. Like they got them in the portal instead of what they've been sort of sticking with. Would they have won a few playoff games, the last 2 or 3 years? So that's kind of what I'm throwing out. I'm kind of curious what your thoughts are and what the chat's thinking.
Yeah, chat, let us know. And definitely going to get to you guys real quick since we were a few minutes later on Inside Texas. But yeah, they were honest, man. They noticed somewhere. They said we're on Cali time there. So yeah, chat, let us know kind of what's your optimal portal mix. Like, how would you personally attack the portal? Obviously, like we know, like I'm just referencing never, really developing a quarterback. Like, I mean, not knocking Lincoln Riley, but go look at Oklahoma, I mean, it's always an elite transfer portal talent every single year was coming in. And, like you said, man, I mean, with better quarterback play, it's hard to imagine Georgia doesn't potentially beat Notre Dame 2 seasons ago. It's hard to imagine they don't win a playoff game or two last. I mean, I don't know. Can Georgia be young every year? You know what I mean? Like that's kind of the question there. If you're going to have 90% of in-state talent and you're going to be all at a recruited football club, they were young last year, and to me, it seems like they're a little bit young this year again. So yeah, like, do you mix in some more experience at some of those positions where you have a little bit of youth? Do more people take that style and just really try to just duplicate that blueprint? Is that the future? I mean, but not everybody's going to be able to pull that off, to the same sense. So as Paul said, hey, what do you guys think? How would y'all attack it? It makes a lot of sense for a team like Miami with Cristobal, considering who he is and, his offensive line pedigree, to, hey, home grow those guys. Make sure that you have that offensive line where you want it, and then you fill it in. Like, hey, we with this group, I think we can do this on offense, and you start adding pieces. And then obviously on the defensive side, they hit home runs there as well. But for Texas, man, like, what do you guys want the Longhorns to do? Is this something that you want to see less portal guys? Me personally, I think we've done a really good job in the last couple of cycles. I mean, we really needed a complement to Xavier Worthy and like an Adonai Mitchell, and I think that was a really good find. Obviously, Matthew Golden, we didn't really know at the time how big of a pull that was, but you saw the second half of the season how big Matthew Golden came on. Eventually became wide receiver 1 for Texas, a huge part of that offense in the second half. So yeah, like over 8 to 10 year period, how do you think that, Paul? How does Indiana's model play out? Over the next decade? Like, is it sustainable?
I think for Indiana, I think so. A lot of people are I think Curt Cignetti's going to get a lot of coaches fired because people are going to say, "Hey, let's do what Indiana does. Let's get old." Hey, I kind of laugh when people like hand wave away Curt Cignetti's accomplishments because they're like, "Well, he had all those James Madison transfers." And it's like, "Oh, that was the key all along." Just go get a bunch of guys from James Madison. That was the key to unlocking national titles, at a Big Ten doormat. So we should go get 17 guys from Old Dominion, right? Like, then we're just good. We're going to unlock it all.
Yep.
I think Curt Cignetti is a one-on-one, and I think people are going to try to emulate what he did, and you're going to end up probably more like Florida State than you're going to end up like Indiana. Like, you're going to end up basically losing all your high school recruiting muscles. And then you're basically going to get a bunch of mercenaries. The second something goes awry in your season, they all kind of quit, collect their checks, and wait out the year ending. So I don't know. I think he's exceptional in his ability to evaluate what these guys actually are and how they fit into his construction of a team.
And that's why, like you're saying, why he's one of one, because I think he has a little bit different ability to evaluate and fit pieces in. Now, let me ask you this, not to get too far away from Blake's comment, but do these colleges and do they risk hurting, like you kind of mentioned, do they risk hurting some of these relationships throughout the high school ranks with some of these coaches and programs when they are maybe passing on kids that they previously would have been taking, and they're looking for more experience or just something else there in the portal? Is that something that maybe you've seen somewhere or heard anything of?
I mean, I suppose. I mean, so like historically, Texas high school coaches take more offense to like slights than anyone, apparently.
Right.
I guess the Indiana high school football community is not, up in arms that Curt Cignetti went and won the national title with mercenaries, right?
Probably not.
Probably not. But, Texas is its own unique thing. Ultimately, I think, for Texas, we're not going to ever go to the Indiana model. We're not even, Ole Miss actually had basically the same amount, the mix of portal guys as Indiana. I don't think people fully realize that. I mean, Kiffin is often in the vanguard of a lot of this stuff. And
portal lord.
Well, he is. And I think a lot of the Twitter stuff and his amusing and entertaining stuff overshadows that he's an early adopter on a lot of this stuff. And he's a guy who's demonstrated, like, you can kind of give me some ingredients on offense and I'll make something pretty good. Like, I don't have to do all my own shopping to be a pretty good cook. I can take some various ingredients, throw them together and make it work. Whereas other coaches, it seems like they need like optimal conditions to run their offense or defense. Kiffin's always been able to sort of scrounge something together. And I mean, how the hell that guy's I mean, we know the story of how they got Trinidad Chambliss and all that, but I mean, it just speaks to the fact that he's open-minded, right?
Right.
He has like a perspective like, hey, there are guys who can play football at different levels of football. And it's up to you as a coach to be able to recognize it and see how they translate. And the truth is, you and I mean, I won't include you in this because you might have a sharp eye, but I would not watch Trinidad Chambliss at Ferris State dominating and be like, man, that guy's 100% going to work out and be a major Heisman candidate in Division I football. Like,
oh, that'll translate immediately to the
SEC. What is this guy? 5'10"? Looks like he's got a rag arm. He's just running around. Like, this is terrible football. Look at that other team. Their cornerback runs a 4.8. This is stupid. I mean, some guys have that unique ability. So, yeah, I think, we shouldn't ever try to embrace something that we're not. And Texas, I think, will always be majority high school recruit. But I think you can also really hurt yourself being too extreme and too committed to the idea. No, we have to develop all of our own. No one has any other good players, that we could help us or we can use. And we found out through both desperation and luxury goods. Like, we didn't get Adonai Mitchell because we were utterly desperate at wide receiver.
Right.
We were just like, this guy's really good when he's healthy, and this is the perfect complement to Worthy, right? Yep. That's kind of what Cam Coleman is for us this year. Was he absolutely necessary for us to field an offense? No, but he's going to unlock the offense. Now, on the offensive line, we hit the portal there for different reasons. We had to, because we failed. We failed in some of our development cycles, and we had to kind of start over. We were not alone there. Alabama had a giant purge of their own line in the offseason. LSU did as well.
Yep.
And, so you want to be going to the portal because you want to go to the portal, not because you have to. And we wanted to this year, and that's when we get Rasheem Biles and Cam Coleman. We also had to, and that's how we got Siani and Dylan Sikorsky and guys like that.
Yeah, man. Because again, we cannot go through the same type of experience where you just have no guys that you can trust to get out there. It feels like Texas is a lot deeper, and just bodies that will be able to get out there and give you, I'll say, serviceable reps. Again, because we're a long way from putting the pads on and seeing exactly what these guys can do. But yeah, I mean, you couldn't not turn over every stone and say, hey, I have to find a little bit of depth here. Hey, I maybe have to find a Sikorsky who can be a left guard or maybe swing to center if, an emergency, he's played a little bit, and just have a guy that's had experience there. And so, yeah, that's a really good point on Paul. I don't think that you're going to win titles living and dying on offensive line portal recruiting. I am more of the mindset of you're going to have some homegrown guys. And I think it is a good idea to maybe some of your portal acquisitions, some of these younger guys that, maybe you had a good relationship with in high school. Maybe it didn't work out for them in their first year. They didn't love their situation. But just guys that you can bring in and still develop. Maybe it's not directly a high school recruit, but so just referencing some of the portal acquisitions that we made on the offensive line, again, a fan of them. A long ways to seeing exactly how it plays out. Oklahoma's, they are using that model a little bit with Nagy for sure. If Paul, is it as simple as freaks from the high schools and then, go get your skill, go get some of your experience from the portal?
That's what Miami's doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. They're mostly trying to build out their O-line and D-line, homegrown sort of recruiting, getting a bunch of 18-year-olds and building them up. And then they just go get their skill guys, particularly quarterback. Every year they just go get their – and that's a dangerous way to live. I mean, where would they be right now had they not pulled Darren Mensah late? I mean, and I think Mensah is going to be better for them than Beck was probably.
He will be. Mm-hmm.
I really like Mensah. But, that's also living pretty dangerous. But that said, Texas is one of the schools that can pull it off. We can go get that guy. I also wonder if Sark and his system, he thinks it requires some investment and time in the program, and it's not plug and play. I mean, Indiana, I mean, again, not to go back here, but I mean, their offense is very effective. I wouldn't say you look at their offense and go, "Oh my God, this is mind-blowing, mind-bending stuff that they're running." It's just
Absolutely not.
it's a bunch of RPOs, basically. Uh,
Executed at a pretty high level. Yeah.
Executed at a very high level. And so I think that's interesting. And so it's not a coincidence they went. So I remember I remember people being puzzled that he would go get Josh Hoover because people were like, wow, that guy, TCU, they just throw the ball around. He throws a lot of picks. Like, that's crazy. First of all, Fernando Mendoza was not Fernando Mendoza when he went and got him from Cal, right? He was, the troubled quarterback from Cal who was running around every Saturday trying to keep alive because Cal didn't have an offensive line.
Right.
But TCU is the only team in FBS that throws as many RPOs as Indiana. So I think the fit is actually going to be seamless. And
I liked it.
Yeah, Cignetti's going to train Hoover like what to do and what he can't do. Like it's not going to be like a discussion and like, let's air out our feelings about why you threw a pick on 2nd and 3, on our 20 when I told you to just hand it off.
Right.
It's going to be a one-way discussion, and I think Hoover will learn. So Indiana, they're pretty good at buttoning people up. So yeah, I think you have to, if you're going to have that, you got to have a pretty straightforward system. And Miami has that, right? We're going to hand the ball off, and we're going to run a ton of inside zone and counter, and we're going to build our passing game off that. So I don't know. I just think Sark wants to get a high schooler and develop him. I don't think he likes the whole portal thing with quarterbacks.
And I get that, man. Again, I think he likes. I don't know what that means. Chris is a furry. That's pretty funny though. Morning to you, buddy. Appreciate you being here as always. But yeah, I mean, and that's something. Again, I would like to, keep growing up these tackles. I feel like Kyle Flood has shown that he, hey, development with a tackle, his hand on those guys, he does an incredible job. I was a big fan of Baker's progress last year. Obviously, previous guys, he's done well. What about you? Would you want to, home grow the tackles and then hey, maybe look at more portal for interior line, or is it just a matter of hey, we got to recruit, evaluate a little bit better on the interior and, just coach them up? Is that simple, or how would you attack the offensive line in particular when it comes to portal recruiting, brother?
Well, unless you're Texas Tech, and Texas, isn't exactly hurting for money, but we still have a budget. We still have a number, and you're going to have to create some developmental guys on your roster.
There you go.
So where do you best have to do that? Probably your center, your 2 guard spots. I don't want to get developmental guys at defensive tackle. That's not really a thing. Those guys are born, right? And then you go find them and pray that you can keep them, because defensive tackles have a pretty high bust rate, not just on the field, but off the field. They'll eat themselves out of the job. They'll, do something stupid and get in trouble with the police, whatever it is. Defensive tackles like to live on the edge.
So character in defensive tackle. I don't know. It's not, you know what I mean? We know what I'm saying.
There's a type. So, that type is not your rugged 3-star with a firm handshake that you can develop for 4 years, right? That's typically not how it works. Now you do occasionally get these these Byron Murphys who are 18 going on 40 mentally. He showed up to UT with a JUCO degree already. He did a bunch of community college classes, and he conducts himself as a grown man, when he's 18, and rolling his eyes at the antics of his teammates. But that guy's pretty rare. I think most would agree. But yeah, I think you're going to have to find that somewhere. And I'm not sure exactly what the proper mix is, but I'm pretty sure wide receiver and defensive tackle, you're going to have to go get really talented guys and get a bunch of them. And some are going to bust and some aren't. And, I love what we did in the portal. We really kind of screwed up defensive tackle, remember, 2 or 3 years ago. And then those chickens came home to roost. And then we just went we're going to go get 7 guys in the portal. And the whole attitude was, you're here on a tryout.
Yep.
And some of you are going to pan and stick around. Some of you are 1 year rentals, like Cole Brevard. Thanks for coming, man. Awesome. Appreciate what you did. Other guys like Hero Canoe, we think you're good. You just haven't had a chance to show it yet. And then we get him in Austin. We're like, oh, this guy's good. Oh, thank God. And then Levon Johnson, he was a starter at Maryland, came in and we're like, you're not quite Texas good. He transfers back. I think he's going to start for Maryland again this year.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, I mean, we just took in a bunch of guys and basically said, it's almost like the Joker scene in The Dark Knight, right? You break the pool cue and go, we're having tryouts. There's 3 spots open and there's 7 of you. Have at it.
It's inevitable. It's not all going to work out, but yeah, you are going to have something pan out from that, and you're probably going to find out pretty quickly, who's in there, who can hang and who cannot hang. And so, yeah, that's the thing, Paul. Like, you can't take 7 DTs in every class, you know what I mean, in every portal class. So you do have to go, you're going to have to home grow a couple DTs. As for you, man, how are you allocating, your NIL funds? Let's go on defense. Like, give me your top positions on defense. That, you and I've only done one show together and 20 minutes on our Sunday show. So I'm going to get into the mind of Paul Wadlington here. How are you allocating your funds? Are you spending, hey, is edge rusher priority 1? Is CB1? Is that where you're putting it all? Like, talk to me a little about it.
So I think you can broadly, I think the interesting thing about the portal is that, there's like an old thing. If there's a mountain that's got a certain composition, if you take a little chunk of it and put it under a microscope, it looks very similar to the mountain. Like, basically the same things that are weathering on the macro level are happening on the micro level, right? That's kind of what's happening with the NFL draft. And when you're looking at portal and like NIL allocation, the same rarities that you're having in the portal that you have to pay up for are the same things in the NFL that they covet, right?
Yep.
On defense, I need corners, I need edges, and I need defensive tackles. I love linebacker. I love the position. It's probably the back of the line in terms of what I can get away with if I stock the rest of the positions correctly. Safety, very important, but some of my failed corners are going to be good safeties for me. And that's, no failed safeties are good corners. Some failed corners are good safeties, right? It's kind of like linebacker. I can more make do with those positions. Now, if I can get Earl Thomas, that would be awesome as well. More than happy to take him on my team. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, I want to stock defensive line and corners because that's really going to be the infrastructure. And those are the hardest guys to sort of hit on. And they are the most difference making. Now, the interesting thing, there is a question about, should you go edge, and then you just get some big body DTs, stop the run, and maybe they're incomplete, right? I mean, the value of a elite defensive tackle who can both stop the run and rush the passer, to me, that's as strong as any good edge. Like, because interior pressure is best pressure, right? There's a million offensive gurus now in football at the high school or college level who can do really clever stuff, but they don't have a lot of solutions for a defensive tackle screaming through the one gap at their quarterback. I mean, Colin Simmons, if you give me enough time and I devote enough bodies, he will not make a play against my offense. Like, I can prevent that. Doing that to a defensive tackle, it's not quite as easy without like creating massive opportunities for everybody else on their D line. I mean, if I know for a fact my defensive tackle is getting doubled every play, I can get up to all sorts of mischief, running little linebacker games or edge games behind him. Whereas, you can freeze out an edge. If you just say, we're devoting everything to making sure Colin Simmons doesn't have a great game, right? We can make that happen.
You can prevent that.
It's a little harder to do that with a defensive tackle.
If you're a Big 12 offensive lineman in 2023 trying to block Javondre Sweat, like that was an auto double. Or if you're an Aaron Donald in the NFL, like that guy was absolutely terrorizing offenses and terrorizing game plans, man, because he, like you're saying, he'd push double teams 3 yards back into the backfield. And that, I mean, look at even Justice Terry last year getting pressure on Marcel Reed on the essentially the pick that sealed that. Was pressure from more from the interior. He blew up that offensive lineman, got him into Marcel's lap. I love that stuff, man. And Paul, obviously, we think a lot alike as far as where we're going to put our money, man. The failed corners and safeties, man, that's gospel right there. Y'all go back and run that back and listen to Paul, because he's exactly right. You're not going to have a guy that doesn't work out as safety and they can make it out of corner. So for me personally, same thing, man. I'm going to put all my money at corner and on that defensive line. I'm going to make sure we have obviously an edge rusher who can go out and hold that edge, but also, man, you gotta be able to stop the run ball, especially in this SEC, man. You're going to have defensive tackle talent, and you're probably going to have to spend to do that. So yeah, sure, you guys are the same. Y'all know y'all don't want to sit there and watch Texas have no defensive tackles. We need a well like Cody Campbell. Until then, we have nothing. I mean, hey, man, they are definitely playing a game that's pretty interesting. And yeah, it seems it's a little bit different than the rest of college football.
Well, I have a couple of thoughts on Tech. So yes, it's unique. So it's unique not only in that they have Cody Campbell and sort of a blank check, right? They have this mascot billionaire who's like, just tell me. They're paying 50% of our market for all these guys, right? And so people are saying, is that sustainable? It's like, yeah, if you have a billionaire who's fully invested in your football program, right? Texas has plenty of billionaires, but they want to like fund the engineering building, right? Or Michael Dell, right? With his contributions to like the academic side. But I don't think Tech does get enough credit for the fact that there's plenty of programs that you could give them a blank check and they'd still buy the wrong ingredients. Right?
Absolutely.
They'd still screw it up. Tech is doing a good job. They're particularly getting like G5, now G6 guys. Like all their evaluations on those guys have been pretty spotless. And, David Bailey, everyone coveted him and they kind of had a sense of what he might be. I mean, they hit on David Bailey in a big way. Right. And, I don't think people anticipated top 5 draft pick. Right. Even Romello Height, everyone knew who he was and he's a good player. He got to Tech and kind of unleashed it. Helps to be big fish, small pond, obviously. But I do think they don't get enough credit for the fact that they've done a good job broadly in their, portal evaluations and who they are bringing in. But I don't think people mention it enough because Joey McGuire is very well liked and he's very good with journalists in particular, like giving them access. So, I mean, you can cue the Joey McGuire feel-good articles like every year around this time that like he's got his friendly journalists that always go to him for comments, anonymous and otherwise. And the truth is his value proposition was, I know how to run the program. I know how to evaluate. I know how to get the right high school players and feed them into Tech. This is pre-Cody, right?
Right.
That model wasn't working great until Cody Campbell came along and sort of gave him a lifeline. So, that is the aspect of Tech that is interesting because they are a portal-heavy team. They're over 60% portal guys. They didn't do an awesome job. And they kind of were following the old Matt Rule program at Baylor, which was, hey, give me a bunch of physical freaks and I'll teach them to play football. One of Matt Rule's things was like, what do you run the 100 meters in? Like, I don't care about your tape. Like, okay, you're an absolute freak. We're going to teach you how to play football. Some of you will never pick it up, but if we do this enough, we'll go field a team that can go win the Big 12. And that's what he did, right? McGuire had a similar kind of rubric, and it wasn't panning out. They weren't teaching them football. And so then they had to go hit the portal, and then all of a sudden, portal bonanza, right? And it's all working out for him. And it helps too that he doesn't have to do an amazing job coaching week to week to win football games. I mean, he's got the better team every Saturday, clearly. And even, Texas, woe is us, right? I mean,
right.
The truth is, though, there's going to be games this year where it's not clear we're the clearly better football team when we roll out against Ohio State, when we maybe see LSU in Baton Rouge in a night game, which I'm sure is going to happen. In the Big 12, in the SEC title game, if we roll up against Georgia, is it like, ooh, poor underdog Georgia? No. I mean, I think, that is the difference. Is he's not getting tested week to week, and they're not getting tested this year at all. So, I mean, what's their big test? Houston.
Their biggest game is Houston and Lubbock. And
I
again,
mean,
it's not like, I mean, and again, not to make it a tech show, but it's not like the offense is outworldly or anything. It's not where, just making your point, it was Campbell that really brought the defensive talent, spent the money on the defensive side of the ball, and all of a sudden now it becomes a fun defense to watch. It's an attractive defense. Everybody sees it. You're getting a lot of money to come play for it. Well, I mean, we still saw what that offense looked like. And again, I thought Baron Morton, I mean, definitely up and down. I didn't think that obviously he was going to be like a national championship upside, but you could just Tech getting in, makes them a place that maybe other kids, they know can get a lot of money, and hey, go play in a college football playoffs and you beat the crap out of 12 teams on the way there.
yeah.
At some point, like what pressure, and again, this is only going to be year 2 of Tech making the playoffs because they're going to get into the playoffs. Like at what point is McGuire going to have to do some coaching against a team that's as good as he is on the football field and, go win some playoff games? Is he going to get another pass if they go, long story short, he going to get another pass if they roll into the playoffs and they get, maybe they score a touchdown this time, but they still get whipped around a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, so he's fulfilling all the wildest dreams and requirements of Tech fans right now.
Yep.
But as we know, that fans move the goalposts very quickly on you. Talk to a high school coach that's been somewhat successful and like taken over a bad program, and they go 10-3 and they make a playoff run, and they hadn't made the playoffs in 20 years or something.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's ecstatic. Oh my God, Cord's the best. This guy. Oh, we love the guy. After a couple of years of that, people are like, is this guy ever going to win a title? Is this guy? I mean, what's his deal? Why can't he get
in my heart? This is 2 weeks ago. I'm getting love on the flag football sideline, so I was getting chirped. I was getting chirped on Sunday, and it come from behind win, man. So I was like, hold on, who have you been talking to, Paul? Hold on, man.
Yeah, I mean, but that is the nature of fans. So right now, Tech fan is ecstatic because other than Mike Leach, historically, I mean, their halcyon, you're going back to Spike Dykes going like 8-4, going to the Liberty Bowl, like cool, right? Tech's ecstatic right now, but those goalposts are going to move soon. Maybe not this year. If they make the playoff and lose again in the first round, people are like, we're dominating the Big 12. This is fun. Who cares? In a couple of years, it's gonna be like, when's this loser gonna win it all? Like, I mean, that's just the nature of the beast. And I think,
like, go ahead, Paul. Sorry.
Well, I was just gonna say, we'll hear some chirping this year if Texas doesn't have a deep run in the playoff.
I mean, it's the same thing similar to Texas, like you're saying, though. Like Sark gets in, a couple of times, and it's like, oh shoot, we're happy to be here. Well, then it's like, okay, we're this close to getting by Ohio State, this close to getting by Washington, and it's like, all right, well, enough of that. That was fun. Time to win.
Yeah, like time to win it all. I mean, everyone's all excited in year 2 of Sark when we go 8-5 and lose a bunch of close games to like great teams, right? People are like, oh, all right, the program's really turning around. This is good. This is exciting. By the time you hit the offseason, you're like, how did we lose 5 games? This is stupid. Like, we need to, we will reimagine what I thought our expectations were very quickly. So, it's like being married to a woman who's ambitious. Like, you come in and scoop her up from a small town and she's grateful. And then within a couple of years, she's like, why don't we live in Paris? And why don't we have a summer home in Prague? Right. So fans have the same mindset. It's always constant improvement. And you're always going to move the goalposts on coaches. And I mean, God, people have already forgotten Bama. Like, Bama's just dominating the sport under Nick Saban in ways we hadn't seen. And then they hit a little spot where, God forbid they lose a national title game to Clemson. And, they don't play for the national title, I think the year after. I can't remember. And people are like, Nick Saban's lost. They're calling Bama talk time, right? Nick Saban's lost it. I think it's time to fire him. I don't know what he's doing. It's just like, that's what fans are. It's our right.
Colin DeFonbaum. I just don't understand how we keep this guy around. We hadn't won a title in 300 days, and
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have all five. Yeah, that was hilarious, man, to see just one season. Again, we know how it goes. I mean, Mac Brown went and we go 5-7 in 2010, and y'all remember how that was, And again, maybe some of it was deserved. I'm not going to comment on all of that, but hey,
Turns
there's
out they were right in
yeah,
2010.
it turns out they're pretty dang right on that.
We should have cut the cord, no pun intended. But yeah, I think it is interesting. I mean, you're always going to be a slave to that. And the thing that is nice and pretty accommodating though is as it currently stands, they're in the Big 12. And the Big 12, I mean, I'm very curious on your thoughts, but I think there less talented than they were 5 years ago.
Big time.
Like, I mean, it's just obvious, right? And I just think Tech is assured of winning the league and going to the playoff every year. And that's an incredible position because the committee has no basis or no imagination for imagining quality of win, right? And it's just loss column bias. If you have a 0 or a 1 in the loss column, you are a good football team. And if you have 3, doesn't matter who you played. Doesn't matter if you played 9 ranked teams in your 12 games. If you're 9-3, you're naughty and you've showed all your weaknesses.
You
And
stink out loud.
That's right. You stink out loud. So, and that is a different mentality than college basketball, which is we see 12 seeds all the time in March Madness that are 28-3.
Yeah.
Was Dayton that was undefeated coming to the tournament?
12 seed.
I mean, they have some notion of discrimination of like, hey, winning the Horizon League is not quite the same as winning the SEC in basketball.
I mean, at this moment, college football pretends that the resume matters, and college basketball, the resume still matters. And
Yeah,
even college baseball.
I will say, in fairness, there was a time in college basketball they were more footballish, like they were beguiled by the win loss record. But then when all the metrics crept in, that was over. Like that's all people talk about. Like so, when mainstream normies on your TV broadcast are talking about palm ratings and net ratings, and this was a big win because it was on the road against a ranked team that has extra point value, right? Then it's over. Once you let the metrics dorks in, you can't get them out, right? Look at baseball. True. Baseball fought, I mean, more than any sport of like, I know what a good baseball player is. I can look at them, and as they, Billy Beane used to say, we're not selling jeans, right? We want guys to get on base. And once you let the metrics guys in, you're not getting them out. So there is a hope that will happen in college football. But because of the paucity of games, you don't get a rich data set. And also the direction of college football is more insular within your conference, not playing more teams out of your conference so we can figure out the hierarchy. Mm-hmm. It's 9 Big Ten conference games. It's 9 SEC conference games. And so if you're an SEC middle-class team, hell, if you're Texas, do you want to challenge, schedule 3 really challenging non-cons with a 9-game SEC schedule? No. I mean, you're going to go get 2 teams you hope you can blow out and, maybe one moderate challenge. Probably Ohio State's a bridge too far, right, for the future. Right.
I mean, even, and I hate to give them credit, but like, even at this point, like Texas Tech is probably a bridge too far. Like, why would, of course we'll be called cowards and like this and that but like Tech has put themselves in a position where it's like, Texas is going to be challenged. Texas Tech needs to play that game, obviously, for a number of reasons. Recruiting would be, not that they need the help, but I mean, just think they only can gain from it, and they don't have anybody on that schedule on a yearly basis who's going to go challenge them. Probably never lose more than 2 games with the current setup of the Big 12 over the next half decade from the way things seem now. But for Texas, it's like, yeah, why play? And again, I love the Ohio State, Michigan games, Notre Dame, Georgia, whoever, or not Georgia. Who do we just play? Arizona State, we had a matchup with that we canceled. Like those, and A&M plays Arizona State this year. Like there's some fun matchups out there, but like Arizona States of the world, and maybe right now they're obviously like probably at the top of their ceiling for football. But like that's about probably as difficult of a challenge as I'm going to take on in the non-con. considering, that there is one more conference game now. You don't have 2 byes. Like Texas in 8 straight conference games, Paul, like starting with OU and running all the way through A&M, like we're going to be loaded, man. But that's tough on any roster,
Yeah, there's no doubt. And then now we're kind of back full circle to the portal. And
Love it.
here's the irony of it all. We were told that this is flattening college football, right? The talent's getting dispersed, and that is in many instances true, right? The talent's not getting dispersed at the G5, the G6 now. It's only going one way, which is up to the P4, right?
Yep.
The G6 is still going to put out the same number of NFL origin players, but their last 2 years are going to be at Texas and Nebraska and LSU, not at Texas State. So that sucks, right? You at that level, you almost want good, flawed players that better programs are like not sure can elevate. So there's certain guys in the college ecosystem can be absolutely awesome. Diego Pavia is a dominant college quarterback. He doesn't elevate to the next level. And there were questions if he could elevate from New Mexico State to Vanderbilt, right? You remember Todd Reesing?
Of course.
At Kansas?
Yeah. Austin's finest.
Really good college quarterback. Mm-hmm. No pro future. 5'9", right? And not runs a 4.3 40, 5'9", right?
I mean, same time frame. Graham Harrell was incredible at Tech, system quarterback. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like threw up, all Tech quarterbacks at that point were, hey, real quick, are you going to attend the 6-6 postseason NIT tourney coming to college football? I'd probably show up for that. I'm just saying. I'd go grab a couple. I'd show up.
The college basketballization of college football is crazy, and college basketball is getting more college basketball-y, right? Because we're going to 72. Isn't that the case in the tournament?
I have no idea. We've got to be going up. I feel like we're due. We've been at 68 for long enough now. It's like, it's time.
I'm such an old man. I was pissed when they went from 64 to 68. And people are like, oh, but the play-in games are so fun and it's an opportunity. And I'm like, don't care.
Go win your conference tournament. Do better in the regular season.
I'm absolutely confident that we've got, out of these 64 teams, probably one of them is the best team, and the best team isn't sitting at home. Because they were the Patriot League runner-up, right?
I love it. The Patriot League runner-up. No disrespect to the Patriot League. I think the Horizon League also caught a little bit of slander in the chat.
Yeah, I don't mean to fire out. I was going to go Sun Belt, but I didn't want to hit close to home there.
But, there's some good hoops there in that old Patriot League, man. Tech at 11-1, make the college football playoff every year if they lose by 30. That's right now. That's what Paul's kind of made that point here a few minutes ago. Like right now, it's all win and loss record, man. Like it's all win and loss record. Is there hope that this committee looks further than that, Paul? That they get a little bit deeper into it and they're like, wow, Ohio State went to Austin, 110-degree heat second weekend of the year and played them a 6-point loss. And yeah, they lost to Oregon and they, by a touchdown, lost to Michigan by a field goal. Like, are we going to start seeing some of these 9-3 teams, considering the SEC has gone to 9 conference games and we've catered to the Big Ten. We've given up. Seems like in every big decision now is going the Big Ten's way here. But yeah, is there a chance that I don't want to see 2 11-1 Big 12 teams in the college football playoffs. I'm just saying. I don't have enough respect for that conference like Tech, sure. But unless somebody goes in there and beats Tech in the Big 12, is there a chance 2 of those guys get in?
Right now, probably not. I don't know if you remember, but this is all moving so fast. But about 18 months ago, Yormark had the opportunity to have 2 guaranteed Big 12 bids.
He did. Wow.
Remember that?
He did.
And he was like, no, we deserve more. We're capable of more. It's like, guy, snatch that up. Let's get Utah and Tech in the playoff every year, right? But yeah, I mean, there's a lack of vision for some of these guys, and it's interesting. But yeah, I mean, Tech is they've got a unique ecosystem, and all they've got to do is hit maybe on the right quarterback. Find their version of Diego Pavia. Maybe it would have been Sorsby. Who knows? And maybe that guy can elevate them. Because, I mean, their defense was legit. I mean, it's not like you watch Tech's defense in the playoff and go, oh, they're out of place. They were just fine. playing Oregon.
They played really
But
well.
the offense looked out of place. Like, this does not look like playoff offense. And, so until they address that, but part of this is just getting in the dance, right? So we'll see.
You remember this though? Not to again them trotting out cover 2, and they ran a lot of it against Texas the week before or 2 weeks before when they beat Texas. But yeah, that good point, Bobby. And again, we're gonna dog them anytime we can right now because it seems like the thing to do here over the last week or so. It's a rivalry to me. Dang it, it's definitely been one on social media. But yeah, old school cover 2, man, and dropping your mic against some of the. I mean, OU had 4 guys that could burn on that squad. But yeah, just had to bring that comment because it's a really good point right there. This is a funny one right here. The last living thesaurus, Paul, man. These guys love you. This is awesome. The last living thesaurus, Tooth is melted Noah's Ark, and now we have Paul. You guys are on a roll, man.
Did I have an SAT word that I threw out or something accidentally? I don't know.
I don't know. I just enjoy it.
Did I say plethora? Hey, there is a guy that you don't have to study or think about at all if you want to get a mortgage. This guy, his name's Gabe Winslow. You can reach him at 832-557-1095. Why Gabe? Why not Gabe? He's over 20 years in the industry. He's got a law degree, Texas grad, former National Merit Scholar. This dude is the guy you want in your corner for the biggest financial decision of your life. It's buying a house. We're not going to make many bigger financial purchases in our lives. I know buying a PlayStation was one of your big, concerns and considerations. You got a lot of advice, like what system should I set up, all that. This is even bigger than that, Cord. It's buying a house. It's the biggest thing ever. And this is the guy you should go with. Read all of his rave reviews on Google. Whenever we post this stuff on Inside Texas, people always chime in spontaneously saying this guy's the GOAT. He solved all my problems. Call him, 832-557-1095.
There you go, guys. Check out Gabe. I might be hitting him up, man. We spent all the time on the river yesterday. I was like, I got to get a little bit closer.
Are you out in the burbs? You're not on the river?
We're in Green, man. We're kind of like we're a little over a mile from the closest entry point. But yeah, man. So we're right around the corner. But yeah, we were all talking. Everybody's kind of scheming, getting just a little bit closer to the water. But yeah, we'll see. Paul, were you a big Mike Leach guy back in the day?
I love Mike.
I miss that guy, man. I've seen several comments on old Mike, so I had to bring it up. Y'all are great in these comments right now. Oh man, yeah, definitely got a little bit of more tech talk than I wanted, man. Because I definitely, they are big spenders in the portal, man. Like and it's not going to change. Like you kind of talk about, they're paying, as Paul said, it's 50% above market value. So of course they're going to get brought up. Of course they're going to be talked about again with that schedule. They're going to be back in the college football playoffs. But Paul, for us, looking forward a little bit to 2020, next offseason, if you will, and kind of expecting. Texas is going to have a few first rounders this year. We're going to have a few guys to declare early on. Is there any early thoughts on hey, Texas is probably going to have to maybe spend a little bit or really attack that position in the portal going into next offseason? Not trying to wish away our 2026 season or anything here.
Are you saying Arch Manning's going pro after this? He's got a senior year.
I'm not even going to say that. I'm less confident in that than other people.
Okay. All right. You don't think Cam Coleman's coming back for his senior year?
Man, I keep trying to think about it. My 6-year-old, he's pretty confident that his Cam's coming back. He's got his little Cam Coleman jersey already, and he's pretty confident he's going to get to you. Yeah, we went through some back channels and got us. It might not be perfect, but he thinks it's perfect. And that's all that matters.
How does your 6-year-old know who Cam Coleman is? He's like a
6-year-old is a massive nerd, and I hate to say it, his favorite college football player of all time. And I don't hate to say it because he's a good guy, but he is a massive DeAndre Moore fan, and is very sad that he will not be roaming around DKR. We've gone and he's got the jersey full of autographs. We've taken him a couple different times to games, and luckily know the right people, and can get him in front of some of those guys. And he's always been treated well. He's caught a couple passes, so he literally thinks he is a Longhorn essentially. Like he nice. Thinks hey, when are we going to play again? He was honestly pretty low key pissed at me because we changed our winter flag football season. We were the Longhorns. My best player on the team basically was like, hey, if you're going to keep me around, I want us to be the Bengals in the springtime. So now we're the Bengals. I'm paying NIL already. And so my son was like, what the hell are we doing? The Bengals? Like, what are we the Bengals for? But of course, now he's a big Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow guy. So I love it, man. Sometimes it drives me crazy though, because he's like, I want to watch Texas Baylor softball at 6 a.m. on a replay, and it's just I posted on Twitter the other day. We literally were watching Texas Baylor replay 3 or 4 days in a row every morning about 7 a.m. because he was homesick from school.
Maybe he's not that sick. Maybe he just decided he likes that time with dad watching.
He's just owning me at every turn, man.
That's crazy. Yeah, you're much more of a player's coach than I am. When my kids have requests, I tell them to shut up. Usually,
Yeah.
have you noticed that too? That not to be like these kids today. I'm their coach, and they're coming up to me like during games and be like, "Hey, I want to I want to play quarterback this series, or I want to run a route where I'm like,
It's
I'm
every
not really
snap.
looking for your input, guy. Like, go line up at center."
Every snap, and I laugh at it all the time. I've got one kid, every time he pops in the huddle, he sticks one finger up. Can I be Q? That ain't QB. Can I be Q? And it's like I want to get the ball, and I want to get the ball, and it's fun. We're working on that. There's two different teams. There's the 5 and 6 year olds don't handle it as well as the 7 and 8 year olds. You know what I mean? And those eyes sometimes they get big and watery when I call a play that goes to the V instead of the H. You know what I mean? So it's been hilarious, and really, really fun to be a part of it. Kenny and I's team, we won a game last week, only our second win of the year, so the boys were trending up going into the playoffs.
All right.
Luckily, everybody makes the playoffs, but I think we can sneak in playoff win in before we meet our inevitable end, because the top of this league is pretty tough, man.
Well, my league has like ringers, like.
Oh, I can imagine.
My kids are like, that kid's an 8th grader. Why is he playing in the 6th grade league? Like, he goes to our school. And, like, coaches are shameless. It's unbelievable the stuff that they do. So I also coach tackle football, right, in the fall.
Of course.
And for the kids. And we played a playoff game where we had on our side of the field in the stands, we had a parent from their team on their cell phone texting and like telling them stuff we were saying on the sideline.
No way.
This is for 5th graders.
For 5th grade, so that we haven't had the sign stealing drama, but we had a 1st and 2nd grade team last fall who had a 4th grader. Okay, now listen, like, I understand there's going to be guys that are like, oh, little Jimmy is a 3rd grader, but he's smaller than every 2nd grader, and he has a late birthday or early, whatever. Like those things. Like, listen, I know that people are going to try to get away with that, but the audacity of having a kid 2 years older than the oldest part of that league. And then in the last spring, we had a guy that was awesome. He's gluing the flags. He's gluing, like, they're just taking a little bit of glue. And I was like, man, I gotta get deeper in my bag here. Like, I just gotta have more killer instinct out here, because these guys they're serious. But one thing I will notice, I noticed that the guys who yell, they win. You know what I mean? It's the yellers. The guys who yell win. And we're laughing, we're smiling. Dude, we have 10 minutes before the game, we have like a 5-minute mandatory dance period. Like, go crazy, go have fun. Shout out VY, like the old days. I'm just letting it rip out there. That's what I tell them. Pretty sure we're gonna have some team injuries at some point, because last week we were doing the bowling pins. We had one kid like rolling on the ground, and then the whole team would fall down. That's and awesome. So, but yeah, when you give up, we scored 163 and gave up 30. So I'm gonna have a little fun out there, man, because they do work pretty hard.
They deserve it. Sounds like if you only give up 30, that your defensive coach is not insisting you run man coverage. Is that correct?
We run a little bit of a hybrid defense, because considering that nobody wants to pass the ball down here in this league, it's so great, Paul. We're out here. We run jet, we run orbit action, we run cheat motion. Everybody else, fake here, 6-man backfield essentially.
Is this the Texas State influence trickling?
I was an OC for 4 years. Kenny was messing with me the other day. Kenny was picking on me about my splits. He's like, "You've been watching my offense," and I was like, "Maybe you watched my offense back in 2013, GJ." Maybe
that's right. Well, there's different types of OC. I mean, you got to realize I grew up playing like Neanderthal football. So, like, one of our rival teams that when I was playing high school football, if it was 2nd and 1, they would run quarterback sneaks sometime to get the first down. I know. Like, that's incomprehensible to you. Like, to you, you're thinking, like, what deep shot can I take, or what trick waggle can I run? But this dude is like, we got to get the first down. Let's get a hard 2 yards.
Well, listen, man, there is a demon side of my football brain that loves Madden and used to be obsessed. You called it out earlier. I was like, they haven't played Madden in like 4 years, but how did he know he used to be a psycho and go play in all these Madden tournaments and EA used to go everywhere and just have fun and compete in them? But that was me on second and one in Madden. We're gonna run that 4 minute clock and we're gonna bleed that dry. And then you know what? We're gonna run stretch to the right or left and try to get 4 yards, but not more than 4 yards because I want to use all three of my
Yeah,
downs
I don't
and
want to
burn as
score.
much clock as I can get,
Our running
baby.
back is breaking in the open field. I'm going to make him like fall down.
Sorry, don't even get a first down. 7 yards will do. Okay, 4 yard out route. We're complete control.
God.
But no, out there on the football field, man, yeah, let them have a little bit of fun. And I will say, I told you and Ian before, I have a kindergartner that can throw it a country mile, and so it's really unfair. He can
That's awesome.
sling it.
Did anyone catch it?
Oh yeah. My kid is all he can do. He's slow as molasses, but he can catch. And so for his role in this team, we had to carve a rollout. He's like, I need him to go be our number 2 or 3 receiver. He might be our number 1 right now. He's got good hands. But then my jet guy, he's super fast. So the cheat code is, Paul, is we got my 4 really good pre-K kinder guys. I got them playing up with my 1-2 team, so they're getting all that practice action, all that. So that by the time they step on. Yeah, we got something building here. All right, we're working on it.
You went down to the freshman team and put a couple of them on a JV. I got it.
This all started in the winter because like Kenny and I's teams, we just kind of got into it because the kids wanted to play. But then the competition is very serious, and a lot of these guys are just recruiting teams and this and that. And so Kenny's kid is a year older than mine, and we had to kind of separate in the winter league. They weren't playing. I was asked to coach by a mom at a local elementary school. Was like, hey, would you coach my kid? I know he's the same age as yours. I was like, sure, we'll play, but we're going to go to that dang elementary school and we're going to hand pick a team. And so we were watching, luckily
the recess and did some evaluations.
The wife works at the school and we snuck in and, just watch talk the PE coach into doing a flag football day. And we checked a few guys out. And so, yeah, no, it's been fun, man. I love those guys. We playoffs start this week. We'll get a bye into the semifinals, but we should handle it. Kenny and I's team, it would be the equivalent of, and we can do it. We can do it, but it would be the equivalent of maybe Leicester City winning the old EPL back, about 10 years ago? If you're an EPL guy, probably 51 or so.
The only thing I know about Leicester City is it's spelled in a way that you don't anticipate that it's pronounced Leicester.
No, the first time I ever typed out, wow, Leicester City won the title, it definitely did not say Leicester City.
Leicester.
Yeah. It's like, what the hell is this?
All right, that's all the soccer talk we're going to do on this, just so you know.
Never again. There you go.
We're done. Never again.
I just had to find appropriate odds in there, and I really didn't. I hadn't checked the most recent college football odds out there. So
we could have gone Indiana to keep it topical.
Man, I just don't want to put that pressure on my guys. We don't run the RPO game the same. We did have a game-winning touchdown pass on a little RPO action, but we just can't pull it off yet. Maybe the guys, hey, we elevate our play.
Yeah, we have psychopaths in our league who run slow mesh. It's so stupid. It's so dumb. It's all about gaming the clock. Because, if you don't have a rusher, it's you're sacked in 5 or 7 seconds. So
they're legitimately using all that clock. Are they still making a pass attempt?
And hoping that the stoner 20-year-old ref who's just out there making $20 an hour, he doesn't start the play clock till the ball gets pulled. And then we're all like, the minute they start their play fake, you should start your account, right? It's so stupid.
We had to have had people trying that because our commissioner definitely said you have 6 seconds from the time the ball is snapped.
That's what I mean? Strong commissioner.
I definitely, I'm a lot louder than I probably look like with the guys, but definitely with the referees. And a couple weeks ago, me and my guy Dean, we had a few words back and forth. And I went and found Dean this last Sunday, and I went to put my arm around him, and he was like, I was looking to you to say sorry first. And I was like, this is the most wholesome moment I've ever had because I was apologizing to a referee. He was apologizing to me. And I was like, it's all about the kids, Dean, and we're good and we're moving on. But that you screwed that one on. You screwed us on that one, right? And he was like, yeah, I might have known that because unfortunately for these referees, man, we got parents on every angle. We got about 75 plays ran a week, and we've got every one of them on video. And it's not for the purpose of hey, let's show these referees up, but it's fun to see for the kids. They all want to watch them, and then they also, get a little bit better, man. But it's pretty much year round. I haven't been ejected yet. I've been flagged twice this season. I got 2 flags on me.
Are you
One is,
serious?
absolutely, yeah.
Oh God.
Absolutely. And I'm not like, like screaming at the guy, but one time a guy shows up halfway through the game and then comes out and he immediately wants to call you have to have 3 on the line of scrimmage in our 6-man league. And he immediately wants to say, we don't have enough guys on the line of scrimmage. And he didn't, like he threw the flag essentially like the second he stepped on the field. And I was like, how are you going to show up halfway into a football game and just like know that you like, this is how the game's been called? So like, I'm just going to call it like this. You have no idea how the game's been called. Everybody's a little bit loose at first.
Sounds
and
to
then,
me like someone didn't have 3 on the line. That's what I
man,
hear.
coach, we didn't
That's
have
what
3
I'm
on the
hearing
line.
right now.
Okay. But the point is that when they're false starting on half their snaps and you haven't seen that, I need you to pretend that you have seen that. Let us slide on that one play. But yeah, me and Dean, we're good. Me and Jesse, we're working on that. Can't complete a pass behind the line of scrimmage as a forward pass. You can throw laterals. And so, some weirdness to this league, man. You got to be pretty creative in getting the ball into space because everybody just sits and waits on all the misdirection. They just let everything unfold, and then they just like attack, So we're having to get pretty creative, man. Like Kenny and I are getting deep in those bags.
That's funny. Yeah, our biggest scandal was we had a game where you have to send the flag football. You guys, those of you who don't coach or have to go watch this nonsense. You have to make a middle cone in 3 downs, right? So it's 3 downs to make midfield. Well, there were 2 yellow cones, one on either side of the field, but they were misaligned. So depending on which yellow cone and which like ref happened to be on that side determined whether we got a first down or not. And we were like, the cones are misaligned. And the guy's like, I'm running this game. And I'm like, come over here and stand with me. Look straight. The cones are not lined up. Like it's a first down over there.
4-yard difference.
Yeah. It's like, and it was not like 6 inches. I didn't have like a laser level,
Yeah.
It was available to the naked eye. And all my kids are like, it's a first down over there. It's not over. It's the one. They're like, start panicking. And I'm just like, this is absolutely ridiculous.
I'm still waiting on a call back from the league commissioner about our winter league. Second week of the regular season, we're down a point. We've done a couple of touchdown passes to our center, and we pump it, fake it to the center, kind of hand it out wide, and guy standing in the end zone with 2 flags on his hips, and the referee's like, he's short. I'm like, well, yeah, he's a little guy, but I mean, like, he's got 2 flags on and he's in the end zone. That was a big deal. These parents, though, man, that's always fun. The parents get so into it, and they're normally kind of like the catalyst, like they'll get on the refs a little bit, and then I'm like, all right, I got to have their backs. I got to have their backs a little. So, yeah, again, apologies, guys, talking a little bit of flag football. We kind of always do that on my shows, Paul, at least for a few minutes, just to keep it fun in there. And normally on my Sunday show, I'm either leaving to go to flag or coming back. So I have a little horror story to tell because we've taken some lumps with our 1-2 group. But hey, what would Lou Brown say? We won a game today. We won one tomorrow. That's a winning streak, and that's what our 1-2 Bengals are looking to do. We got to win one on Sunday, and that's a streak for us. Paul had 50.
Because a 6-year-old bullied you into the name. By the way,
not even one of the 1- and 2-year, or not even one of the 1st and 2nd grade Bengals, but one of the kindergarten Bengals. You gotta love it. All right, Paul. Anything else?
No, we're out of here. Once we go to flag football talk, it's time to tap out.
Yeah, we're waving that white flag. Paul, thanks for doing this, man. I was honored to host you, my man. We'll get you on the Sunday show soon. I'm filling in here for Connor as he's world traveling. But again, guys, thanks for watching Inside Texas. Please don't forget about that flash sale. Take advantage of that. $1 gets you 3 months with Inside Texas and On3. And then, yeah, again, baseball's regional Thursday for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. If you can get out to Austin, come hang out at the Dish, man. Come say hello. I'll be out there Friday and Saturday. And then again, we just talked about the women that are competing right now in match play to advance to the national semifinals and have a chance to pick up the team national title, man. I'm all over that. That's where my mind's going right now. Again, thanks for watching, guys. Y'all throw a like on the video, and we really do appreciate all the love and the comments. Have a great day, guys.